Hello everybody, Yom Tov. It's Monday and I'm here. Is that not a miracle unto itself? That it's actually Monday and I'm here making a video. Do you know what? Miracles will never cease when it comes to me and being about and, generally things. Right, how are you all? How was your weekend? How are you coping? I don't know about you lot and the rest of the world. In the UK, the lockdown is slowly being eased. Car showrooms are opening again. DIY shops. Some clothing stores. I think that's about it at the moment, really. You're allowed to gather in groups of 6 as long as you keep to the social distancing. However, if you go and gather at somebody's house, the police will come along and break you up and there will be a fine. I have no idea how much that fine's going to be, but that's the state of play in the UK at the moment. So I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world. You could let me know in the comments so I can keep in touch with what's going on. Anyway, there's a couple of things that I want to touch on today. And the first one's serious and the second one is really just frivolous. But I want to get to the serious one first. Things in America are not good at the moment. I saw what happened to George Floyd and I was absolutely horrified. It really upset me. I mean, to the point where I was crying. I saw some of the video, I couldn't stomach watching anymore of what I saw. And at one point I was screaming for justice. I was actually screeching at my laptop, screeching for justice for George. And I'm hoping that we're going to get some kind of measure of justice for him. Especially to that, I can't say how I really feel about him. But anger, I went from shock, horror, to tears, to disbelief, to anger, all in a very short space of time. Now, I do believe that all lives matter. But in this particular instance, because the black community has been affected so very badly by this horrific incident, and I want to underline this, that black lives do matter. Very much so. Like I said, within the umbrella of, under normal circumstances, I would be saying, look, all lives matter. But it is extremely important right now that black lives do matter. Because look at what they have to deal with. And it's wrong. It's 2020. We're in the 21st century. Surely, if his life was to mean anything, we'll have to stamp out the systemic racism and make some sense of this senseless murder, because that's what it was, and it's what it is. And it still upsets me thinking about it. Now, I can only empathise to a certain degree about being hated for my ethnicity, being a Jew. Because believe you me, the hatred is there practically on a daily basis for me and for people like me. But you wouldn't know it from looking at me. I mean, you would if I was Haredi, which is the ultra-Orthodox Jewish people, because you can tell, you know, they look different the way I do. I am a Reformed Jew, and, you know, I don't wear a wig. I don't cut my hair really short or shave it or whatever. And I believe in equality between, you know, men and women in the synagogue. So both of us can play an active role. That wouldn't happen with Haredi. But the point I'm trying to make is that, to all intents and purposes, I'm a white woman. But because of my ethnicity, I get hatred for being a Jew. But it's not the same as what people of colour have to deal with. And it's completely wrong. I will not tolerate racism. I will not tolerate homophobia. I will not tolerate anything that discriminates. I just won't. If there was a sniff of it in the Haven or in our Facebook group, as far as I'm concerned, they're out the door. And don't let it hit you in the arse on the way out. I just won't tolerate it. It brings me back to what that lady said to me when I was in my meditation. Love is the answer to everything. So, with that in mind, my personal opinion is that I'm going to think of George with love. I'm going to think about his family with love. I'm going to project as much love as I possibly can towards George, as he now is in spirit, and towards his family. And they need to be surrounded in love and with love right now, when they come to terms being without their loved one, which was brought along by a senseless act of murder. And they deserve justice. And I wanted to make that point very clear today. And it's an easy thing to say, as I said to the lady. It seems to be a stock standard answer. Love is the answer to everything. But I also remembered she said, it's much easier to hate someone that you don't like, or that you might not like the look of. It's much easier to hate someone than it is to love them. And for the life of me, I will never understand. And I will never understand how people can hate each other based on the colour of their skin. I will never understand that. I still don't understand that my ethnicity automatically makes people feel a certain way about me. That is just hard for me to take as a human being. But I have no cause to complain, really, compared to a person of colour and everything that they have to deal with. I love my fellow human beings, no matter what their colour. What excuse have I to hate them? None. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter what colour you are, what religion you are or none, what politics you are or none. It's how you behave that matters. It's the way you behave. I can really dislike someone. Yes, I could come to hate someone for the way they behave or the things that they say, if it induces people to hate and that it could lead to a possibility of lives being lost. I can hate that. But I certainly don't hate anyone for the colour of their skin. I do not understand that. That is completely foreign to my nature. And I want to make it perfectly clear. The Haven is all inclusive. All inclusive. And I will not tolerate racism. I will not tolerate homophobia. I will not tolerate anything that is conducive to hate or any kind of hate speech. It's just out the door. You are not the sort of person that we want here. It's just no. And I want to make that very, very clear to whoever watches this. That one of my dearest friends is a lady of colour. My Daphne. I love that woman. It's a bugbear to me that we are thousands of miles apart. And I'm not going to get to meet her in this lifetime. She is a beautiful woman, inside and out. And I just love her. And she knows I do. And Daphne, if you're watching this, if you never believe another word I say, love, know that I love you. I love you for who you are and for what you mean to me. And it's important that you know that. And it's important that the rest of the Haven know it. And we have people in the Haven who belong to the LGBTQ community. And I love them too. How could I not when my own son is gay? So that's what I wanted to say about that. I do hope George rests in peace and that he gets justice and that his family gets justice. I'll be rooting for them all the way. So I want to underline here, for I would normally say all lives matter. In this instance, black lives do matter, because look at what they are being put through right now. It's extremely important. Sorry, keeping an eye on the time there before I bore you all to death. I did want to come on to the trivia today, and why, as the wife of a British taxpayer, because I don't work, I don't pay taxes. I have worked, and I did pay taxes, but my husband is the breadwinner, and he pays taxes. And to find out that, and for all it's said that Charles is footing the bill for their security, I actually do doubt that, because there are Metropolitan Police officers still guarding the irrelevant twosome over in California. And I must admit, the utter tripe that is coming out of their corner it's not only pathetic, and when you consider what's going on today in America, you would think, wouldn't you, that considering that Meghan has described herself as a woman of colour, she said it out loud when she was in South Africa, that she was a woman of colour, her own mother is a lady of colour. You'd think that if Meghan wanted to be the voice of change that she says she wants to be, do you not think she should have donated something towards, some kind of fund in George's name? That would have gone a long way to sort of repairing some of our reputation. At least that's just how I feel about it. But her constant self-seeking, it's this case of self-entitlement for the pair of them, the absolute pair of them. There's nothing being said about what's happening in America right now. It's all about themselves. All these hundreds of drones are supposed to be flying overhead. It's an utter lie. Do you know why lie about stuff like this? Apparently they're going through these car chases every day. Well, surely they must have taken some footage. And if that was the case, and the paparazzi is snapping them all the time, why aren't these pictures up for the whole world to see? Have any of you, any of you that follow the Meghan and Harry story, right? If you think about it from a common sense point of view, all these drones that apparently are constantly snapping Meghan and Archie and Harry outside their house, right? Where's the evidence? And these car chases that apparently, excuse me, that are happening to them when they're in downtown LA, where they're still doing this angel food thing, that, guess what, was set up by Meghan and Sunshine Sachs to promote her and Harry going around particular houses which were hand-picked, and a camera was given to somebody in one of the houses to film Harry and Meghan coming up and giving them a food parcel, and they were told to say the words, Oh, I couldn't believe it was them at first. Then I realised who it was. It was all a setup. It was all a setup for her to look good, for Harry to look good. There's Harry and for her to say, I want you to see the city through philanthropic eyes. He didn't need her to show her things through philanthropic eyes. He learned at the feet of the best, his mother. So he didn't need her to show him what to do and how to act. He knew already. Do you know what? I don't know where Harry's spine has gone. I think it's got up and went. You know, this person, I don't recognise him anymore. You know, he's just not who I thought he was. And the more I hear about the pair of them, the more I dislike them. And before anybody dares, and I will say dare, I mean, no doubt, you know, what I say about them here will get umpteen dislikes. But in this, I don't care. Nobody dare accuse me of saying stuff about Meghan because she's biracial. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the colour of her skin. I don't care if she's sky blue, pink with yellow dots. It's how she behaves. And she behaves like some wannabe A-lister who thinks the world owes her a living. And that's my opinion. I'm entitled to have my opinion, and that's my opinion. They are a grossly over-entitled, self-entitled pair. They honestly believe that because Harry was in the army, he deserves special treatment and special care from security. Isn't that a bit of a slap in the face to all the other servicemen he served with out in Afghanistan? Where is their security? I don't see them getting any. So why is he entitled to it? Because he's a royal? No. He said he just wanted to be Captain Wales when he was out there and serve alongside his fellow soldiers. From what I've gathered, whether or not it's true, apparently he was a pain in the backside when he was out there. Everybody was babysitting him. All he did was whine. I saw him shooting a gun once, one of these, you know, I can't, like a Gatling gun, that sort of thing. But he was inside a tent. I didn't see him lying, you know, behind a hill like some of the other soldiers were, and they were being picked off by snipers. I didn't see him do that. I'm not saying that he didn't do it. I've just not seen any evidence of it. And if somebody can prove me wrong, I'll put my hands up and say, right, well, I was wrong. But I'm sorry, if he wants out, then he has to be either, at the end of this 12-month period, he's either out, and by then, if I was his grandmother, considering, you know, they're bringing out this book and what have you, and I tell you what, I pray, if they say something, well, it's not both their words, it's mostly Meghan's words, because oh, Miss Scooby-Dooby-Doo is her mouthpiece, but it'll be basically, he's like the glove puppet, she's got a hand up his back. If you notice with Harry, it's a hand on the back. With old Scooby-Dooby-Doo, it's up his back and working his mouth. If they say something off towards about the royal family, if I was the Queen, and if she's still going by then, I would be saying, right, you want to be out of the royal family now. You don't want to be a servant royal. You want to stand on your own 2 feet. From this moment forward, you are Harry Mountbatten Windsor. no Duke of Sussex, no HRH. You are Harry Mountbatten Windsor, and your wife is Meghan Mountbatten Windsor, for as long as the two of you stay married. I wonder how much longer they would stay married, actually, if the Duchess title was taken away from her. But you'd find then she'd have something else to moan and complain about, wouldn't she? And then he'd still moan and whine and what have you. But of course, you see, Charles, he's another one. He's got no spine. And I probably think that's where Harry's inherited it from. At least Diana had the courage to stand up for her convictions. I don't know. He is not. Neither of them are ambassadors for the UK. They're an embarrassment. They are an embarrassment. And that's just me, a nobody. You know, the wife of a British taxpayer. My husband is like, he doesn't want to pay for them. He doesn't want anything to do with the shenanigans. Security, no. As far as he's concerned, you know, if you're out, you're out. Can't have your cake and eat it as well. So, that's my 2 pence worth. That's exactly how I feel about that. And I'm disgusted by the pair of them. I'm disgusted at the lies. And I'm disgusted with their behaviour. And it seems to me, and I'll end with this, that for a couple who have begged for privacy to bring up their young son in privacy, they are never out of the papers. Because there's something every single day. And I don't understand that. You know, if they'd wanted real privacy, they could either have stayed in Canada and just live their lives there. Because I don't know how Harry's going to work out living in America. Because he's going to, if he wants to live in America full time, he's going to have to drop his title. They won't let him stay there with a title. He'll have to drop it. He hasn't got a green card. He hasn't got a job. They're not going to take a freeloader. They could have gone to the Highlands and Islands of Scotland if he'd wanted real privacy and to bring up his kids safely. But I don't think that would have suited Meghan, do you? She's got what she wanted. She wanted to be top of the peak, and then now she's back in LA. Honestly believing that she's got her pick of the jobs. No. It doesn't matter to me whether she's lied about her age or not. I think people start to see through her now. There's always going to be people who love her, who idolise her and what have you, because they refuse to see the truth behind the facade. But do you know what? I actually feel sick that I actually believed the hype. I actually did believe the hype. I told you that I was wary of her from the Vanity Fair article that she put out before they were even engaged, because I remember saying to you then, she comes across as a little bit pushy, a little bit sort of like jumping the gun. This is the part where, for every other royal that's done it before, she's either dropped or he's going to have to commit himself, and he committed himself. And I wonder now, does he regret it? Who knows? Only those two. And though it's none of my business, while they're going to be promoting themselves in the stuff that I read, then as a human being, I'm entitled to talk about it, because it's my opinion. And that's that. So, I'm going to end today, my darlings, and I am, oh yes, that's half an hour. So I'm going to say bye-bye to you all. And I'm sorry about the ups and downs of this particular video, but you know what? I'm just going to end with this. Love is the answer to everything. But it's a hard road. It's a very hard road. And if we want to make a change, then we're going to have to get stuck in and make that hard road a little bit easier every day to try and make a change. Okay. Anyway, I love you all, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Oh, yes, while I remember, it's folk tales this week, so if there's any particular folk tale you want me to look into, or anything of that jazz, don't forget I'm still taking requests, birthdays, etc., stuff like that. So if anybody's got anything that they want to suggest or a request, just let me know, I'll sort it out. But if you don't, then I'll just choose something myself. And that's the PS I wanted to add on. So bye bye for now, my darlings. I love you. I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye bye for now. Bye.